Welcome to our webinar, Automate Everything and Get Back to Business with Shopify. We, Oliver Specht and Zach Dragosav, choose the topic because Shopify is a new opportunity to automate a lot of workflows in companies if all the data are digital, and we want to give today an overview about the possibilities and challenges. My name is Oliver Specht. I'm an expert for workflow automation, digitalization, process management, and Zach, some words to your person.
My name is Željko Dragosav. It's hard to pronounce, but usually called by Zach, by my nickname Zach. I'm an IT integration expert with a lot of experiences in web technologies and apps, and integration, especially integration between services.
Great. So let's start in the topic. So first, we will answer the question, if it's today possible to automate 100% of your workflows in companies. And then we will dive to the Shopify solution, a little overview about the structure and architecture. Then we have two cases today. One, we will show the workflow order to cash, beginning with the digital marketing with the customer journey, and then to the cash processes. And the second case is the integration of Shopify in ERP systems. Then, of course, we will talk about the critical success factors, and then we will close today with a short resume. Okay, let's start. Is 100% automation possible? Maybe we'll have a short look on the typical traditional business first. Many workflows or processes are not 100% digital because we have a lot of manual data and information within the workflows. For example, if we look to the front end and back end processes, customer orders, customer inquiries are sometimes manual. We have here manual information like phone calls, like faxes, like letters in this process. Then we have, of course, conditions, rules, how the employees will do the actions. Most of them are also manual. So we have a lot of manual work in these workflows. But if you look to the more digital business, e-commerce business, where we have this digital front ends, the portals or shops, of course, here the data are digital, the customer data, the triggers, and also the rules and digital conditions could be digital. And then the output is more automated in terms of types of actions. So the overall workflow could be automated. But one prerequisite is really that we have the data digital, starting with the front end. And the other topic here, if we have a digital workflow, we are also better in targeted marketing, interactions with potential customers. We have better management control processes, real-time information, and so on. So that's the advantage if we have a full digital process. Let's look a little bit deeper in these workflows, processes, and here we have the end-to-end process order to cash. We start, of course, with the first customer contact on the left side, where we have something like an offer for customers. Then we have the orders. Normally, if you look to the old manual processes, here we have paperwork, we have emails between customers and the employees of a company. Then we have typical approval processes, which were done normally via email or paperwork. And then we have the deliveries, operations, businesses. And after the delivery of the services, we have the billing workflows. Sometimes also invoices were sent by paper or by email, where you need also manual work behind. Then we have the customer payments, where we have to match the bank account information with the invoice information. Then we have the account reconciliation if the payment is done. If it's not done, we have the overdue notice, also paper and email work normally, or we can book the income in our booking system, also done manual. So we have an as is situation, a lot of manual work in this end-to-end process order to cash. And if you look, why is that? We see here the red topics. It more normally starts with a not structured offer process or order data from customers, which are not 100% digital and not 100% structured. So meaning every customer is different, any offer is different. So here it starts normally with non-digital data, then go further with a approval process where we mostly have a non-digital workflow behind approval process within the company. If the company, for example, if you look to a more manufacturing company, have to organize the approval, is the order possible in time or not. Then we have a not integrated customer order management process in the production, manufacturing or delivery business unit, where we have to exchange manual data. Then also in the invoicing, we have not integrated customer data. So sometimes we have to do the invoicing process manually. And in many companies, we see also that the account reconciliation is done manually by employees to match the payments with the invoices. And also the accounts receivable management is often done manually. So a lot of manual workflows, non-digital data, manual interfaces between the processes we can observe here. And if we look to the more digital e-commerce companies, which are already doing a good job in digital workflows like Amazon, Alibaba, JD.com, we see that these companies are mostly 100% automated, because they, of course, started in the digital world with digital front ends, digital portals. And for example, if you look to Amazon, a good example is the onboarding of new sellers on the marketplace. It's done 100% digital, no employees, physical employees involved, because there are millions of sellers, thousands of sellers every month want to onboard on the marketplace. It has to be done 100% digital. And so all the workflows, approval workflows, integration workflows of the sellers into the Amazon system is done digital, because it's really starting with the digital front end. Also Alibaba, we know in Alibaba, they're of course operating a huge platform in the world, also in China. In China, it's already personalized web shop with millions of customers and millions of sellers. And this is also done on an automated digital process. The personalization, it can't be done manually due to the volume. So we have also here this digital customer registration on the marketplace, and then digital and automated personalized assortment on the web page, and also an automated targeted marketing based on all the digital information Alibaba has. And JD.com is doing that. We read that in the press a couple of years ago. Also in the supply chain operations processes, we need to try to do the supply chain 100% automated with only a few people based on really digital order information. So as a role model, we can see the companies starting with e-commerce are from their DNA already really digital and automated. And therefore, we see that if you act like these e-commerce companies, you can also 100% automate your processes and workflows. If you have a digital front end and if you integrate the different systems. Here, let's say a small overview about the digital input. And let's discuss it. We have here the data input, starting, of course, with the sales funnel, potential customers, or you can also say customer leads. From the digital marketing view, you can integrate. And if you have digital information here, you can do 100% automated targeted marketing. Then you have digital customer data, of course, after the registration of the customers on your platform or shop. Then you can do the order process automatically. Digital product data you need, of course, in the offering process on your portal. And then we have also the digital order information. And digital supply chain data getting you to a more digital invoicing and payment data. So if every data in this value chain are digital, you can do the transactions on the right side also automated and digital. So now we come to Shopify. Shopify, some words to that. Shopify is a Canadian company, founded 2006 by Tobias Lüttke, is a German guy coming from Koblenz, Daniel Weinand and Scott Lake. And they really grow up with developing really standardized but high-performing shop solution for merchants, for sellers. They did a really good job in the terms of building a really easy to use and really performant solution, so that Amazon, it was 2015, closed down their own store web services for the sellers on the Amazon marketplace and choose Shopify as a preferred partner for supporting the sellers on the Amazon platform. And so the number of merchants or sellers grow, which are using the Shopify platform. Right now, we have worldwide 1.7 million merchants using Shopify solutions, Shopify platform solutions, and it's really growing. They're all over the world, 170, 180 countries are included. And what's really impressive is that they have gross merchandise volume of $60 billion, meaning that this is the volume of business operating the Shopify platform. So this is really huge. So Shopify, you can sum it up, is a really performant solution for companies who want to have equal, let's say, performance like Amazon has in its own platforms or systems. So it's no surprise that Shopify is now developing the same functionality, the same solutions like Amazon has. They have own payment solution platform. They have own fulfillment solution like Amazon also has. The FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, warehouse and fulfillment solution. Shopify is doing the same, offering for the sellers. And they are also growing in finance, in banking, having a fintech solution for their sellers, opening bank accounts, using credit cards, etc. So there are a lot of functionality Shopify is offering. And if you look to the architecture of the Shopify Plus platform, so Plus means that's really a solution for medium and big-sized companies, offering really a good, scalable and robust platform, which is really reliable for growing. And from our point of view, it's not only a solution for typical merchants who want to operate a shop system. It could be also a solution for manufacturing companies or B2B companies which want to, let's say, increase the capabilities of their digital front end towards the B2B customers or also B2C customers. We see it right now at medium-sized manufacturing companies in Germany that they, for example, use Shopify for smaller segments like selling spare parts on a front end on a shop. Or we see companies or manufacturers using Shopify for addressing new customer segments. For example, if they want to skip the retail segment and address directly as a manufacturer the end consumers and want to go the first steps. And here Shopify Plus platform could be a good solution because it's not only a front end or shop system, they're offering also other features which a mid-sized company could nicely use. For example, the Shopify Flow. We will show this really in detail today. Shopify Flow is functionality of Shopify Plus, and it enables Shopify customers to automate workflows. And summarize, it's a pretty easy to use functionality, highly standardized, and really the advantage of Shopify Flow is the open ecosystem, where more than 4,000 apps are available from the Shopify App Store with many functionalities you can use and you can integrate. So we have really a high potential of automating processes and workflows across the company, starting from the customer or first Google Ads leads to do the billing and invoicing. Here's a good example how Shopify Flow works. Here we see the easy drag and drop front end of Shopify Flow. So we have only 3 potential processes you can manage. Everything starts on the left side with a trigger. So the trigger decides when this flow starts. Here in this example, the trigger starts when the order, for example, is paid by the customer. Then you have conditions. They check information or data here. Here in this case, this conditions check if the order amount is higher than $1,000 or euro in this case. Then you can, if the conditions are true, you can include actions, which will be done 100% automated. For example, you can here set or add customer tags, like here in this example, gold VIP tags for this customer who has a high order volume, or you can remove customer ID tags, or you can, after this, you can send information internally via, for example, Slack. Slack is a good example here where an app is integrated in this flow. So Slack is a communication tool which already exists. And in this case, we have integrated this Slack communication tool in this workflow. Pretty easy. Or you can send messages, emails, or other communications directly to the customer or to your employees. And this actions and conditions you can really easily build by drag and drop and then start it and monitor this automated workflows. So to summarize it a little bit, it's really easy. You don't need months of trainings. You can, it's more a question of days to train it, and then you can build your first automated workflows. Now we have a case from digital marketing to order to cash. We choose digital marketing because everything starts, of course, with the customer, and also before. If you look in the customer journey, everything starts with the first leads, where potential customers get attracted by your business. And so digital marketing is also an automated way of doing business. And of course, you have the order in the system and the payments. So we choose to start really early. And if we look now to our digital end-to-end process, we look to the left, start with maybe some content we place to get some visibility on potential customers, like we do search ads. at Google digitally. Then these search ads letting the customer, the potential customer, to our landing page. And this landing page is then connected with our front end, where we display our offers, our products, our proposals for the potential customer. It's also digital. Here we have Google Analytics behind, really to track and to analyze these customer journeys. Then we will hopefully have a customer order, so first conversion of potential customers to real customers on our Shopify front end. Then we get the order approval automated done in Shopify Flow. If we are able to deliver this solution product for the right price, then we do the invoicing. Here we have an integration with LexOffice. Is also an existing application we can integrate easily, where the invoicing is prepared and sent out to the customers. Then also in LexOffice we have the payment monitoring automated, and the booking or overdue notice processes, everything automated without any manual effort behind. And what I said before, also an advantage of this 100% digital and automated process is that we can use the information on real time for managing control or for decision support. In this case, if we know that a customer lead is coming from a special marketing campaign, we can of course adjust our proposal or do targeted marketing, meaning that we can deliver additional information, additional product features or discounts to this type of customers to have a better successful business behind. I will show this a little bit step by step. For example, what we will show like later on in a case is that, of course, everything starts with a search, with content marketing or targeted marketing on digital marketing on the left side. Then hopefully the potential customer will click on a Google ad or other advertisement we do. Then he clicks on a product on our offering page. Then he checks out and will buy our products or get the customer order. We approve and tag this order because we know that this customer lead is coming from a special marketing campaign. Then we will do the invoicing based on the customer journey, maybe with some special discounts in this invoice. And then we will have the payment match, or if needed, personal notice, if we have an overdue process here. So this is a process in detail, and if we look how we can automate it, here it is important that we start, of course, with a digital customer journey. We have customer data and order data in Shopify and Google Analytics, everything digital. Then we can automate the invoicing and overdue notice process to the customers, because we have, of course, the customer data digital with their email or personal information. We have the payment and product information digital. This can be done automated. Then, of course, we have the interface to the bookkeeping software LexOffice, so everything is booked out there. The income is booked, automated, and of course, we have the order transfer data and the customer data to LexOffice, and also account reconciliation and booking in LexOffice and automated. So, due to our digital information, the process is 100% automated. And if you look to the live example here, starting with digital marketing, we have produced a little advertisement on Google Ads here. We called it Workflow Automatisierung in German. We have placed it in real time here now. If you type in the keyword Workflow Automatisierung, you will find this ad on Google search. That if the customer or the potential customer lead is now clicking on this advertisement, he will go to the landing page of our company Automatics and in the segment of automation. So he will be transferred directly to the point of interest he has, and now he can click on special offers we gave him because we know he is interested in automation. And he will go to our Shopify page where we display some interesting products. In this case, we have some consulting IT service products. For example, a high-level analysis of digitalization potential. In this case, we offer it for €1, only a test case. Pretty cheap, but for a test case, it's okay. So we have a digital offer, and we can now produce a digital order if the customer is buying that product and checking it out. Here we see parallel on Google Analytics. If we analyze our homepage, our portal, that here we have customers coming from the campaign workflow automatization from Google Ad with our Google Ads advertisement number. And we see here the journey of the customers. We see the clicks. We see the cost per click we have to pay Google for this customer lead. And then we have the conversion rate 100% because the customers bought, or 3 customers bought 3 products. So we have 3 transactions. And we see as a revenue of €3 because we have 3 customers bought 3 products, each €1. So here, because Google Analytics is linked and integrated with Shopify, we see the customer journey and can also tag the customers. This is now our Shopify workflow in Shopify. We see on the left side all the Shopify menus. And if we go deeper in Shopify flow, we see here the easy flow we have created. The trigger starts here with the order creation of the customer on our Shopify platform. Then we have a condition which asks if the customer is tagged with the campaign. So this is the integration topic Zach is doing to tag customers only if they are coming from a special Google campaign or campaign which is called workflow automatization. So we know that this customer is coming to our shop over this campaign. Then we send him an email, the customer, saying that we offer him also a free webinar about workflow automation next week on Wednesday, because we have the email address already, and we send him the email, really automated. And we will also add a line item to our customer order with a free product. In this case, it's a special webinar. And what we also can do is to give Google Analytics feedback about this customer event, what the customer has done on our page. So we can track and analyze this customer journey also in Google Analytics. So here you see an easy workflow or flow in Shopify, which is done in nearly 5 minutes. Easy drag and drop. And then, of course, the email comes automated to the customer. So Oliver Specht was a customer. So that was also easy. Do you want to show Zach a short example, or should we skip to the next?
Well, I mean, we can go through the process of registering, and then we can show how the tagged user exists inside. Yeah, sure. Let's drive into the example. I'll share my screen as well.
And share your screen.
Okay. So I skipped the first step of Googling. So I immediately went to the home page where you mentioned that the content that I'm interested in is. I also have a quick link to the Shopify page. Just a sec. I already prepared the demo, so I'm just going to repeat it one more time. From the Google Ads, so directly from my search request, and I kind of came to the content that I was interested in as a shopper. So I click here to go directly to the link on the Shopify page. Check out the products. I'll go and put, oh, this one is sold out.
Oh,
very popular. Oh.
Take another one.
Yeah, let's go with this one. So we'll add it to cart. If I click my user account, I don't have one, so I'll create one. Okay. So created an account and placed an order. Of course, this is only for the demo, so I won't be adding anything new. But also keep in mind, Oliver, when you present, there is also a scoping workshop in. I think that's a product you added through the automatization to the Shopify flow. I think it's tagging. So if I check my email, I got an email that was automatic arriving from you that you also set up in Shopify flow.
Now we can look at the activity started workflow, which Zach has done from this campaign workflow Automatisierung. And we see here it's started 1 minute ago, customer created by Zach. And then the check if the tag item is our campaign is coming from Google ad campaign automatics. Condition was true, and then the email was sent successfully. So we have the small workflow tested, and it's really easy. There's only 3 steps from trigger, customer created, to check, and then the action send email. So that's a good example how to do an easy workflow. So I will get back to the presentation, and then Zach, you can tell a little bit about the integration of ERP. Mm-hmm. So I have to share another one. So that's presentation again.
Thanks, Oliver.
Maybe the last thing I can say is that, of course, at the end, after running the order, we have the invoice creation in this case in LexOffice, and here you see that regarding the customer order 1012, the invoice is created and sent to the customer. So it's really 100% automated. Okay, it's your turn.
Yeah, so my part is actually a more technical one. The one that you presented, Oliver, the flow, the Shopify flow with the actions. This is, let's say, an upgrade of the same system. Basically, it enables you to do custom code logic in something that we call the bridge. It's actually a bridge between a Shopify and your internal system or any other system. So, for instance, if you have ERP that's already used to manage your point of sales infrastructure, you can connect it directly to Shopify, or if it's missing a certain functionality, you can add in between a bridge, which actually has a similar functionality like Shopify flow process that you showed, but it's more technical in the terms that it allows different types of coding and more complex logic to be implemented in a programming language. So it's basically a Shopify flow lookalike, but on a more lower level of technical, and with it, it's also much more powerful and gives much more options for integration and various connections. So in general, my part of the presentation is mostly based on the 3 integrations that I did for manufacturers, for one manufacturer and one seller in Croatia. And in general, my experience, custom ERP systems are very much optimized for point of. Just a sec before we go. They're generally optimized just for point of sales operations, and also for storages or inventory management of specific processes that are very tightly, coded or organized to support this kind of live sales. So Shopify Bridge here comes as an additional functionality to help bridge the ERP possibilities in the terms of today's web. It actually supplements your ERP to be able to connect it to the various services available on the web. And also the biggest or the most interesting one today, and it's in our chat, is Shopify. Communication, the only thing that's mandatory for the ERP system to open is to have some sort of API that the bridge can connect. API is application programming interface. It's a de facto the standard how web services or web applications today communicate over the internet. There's a small schematics actually how it's functioning. So ERP is, you can consider it as an onion shell architecture. So ERP is actually around some sort of internal database or some sort of internal management system. Then the bridge connects through the AIP directly to the data provided, the data that contains the ERP. And then on the other side, it connects Shopify through the standard API services that Shopify has. Okay, we can go to the next one. So how does it usually look, the integration part? You can consider ERP as a source of truth. In practice, sometimes this is actually the source of truth, but very often it is not. The good thing about digitalizing processes is that it forces you to standardize and sort of clean up the data that you have and the processes that you are managing, and to structure it in a way that it can be explained in a programming language or inter-service operability. And so how we usually structure that, we help the clients in my case is to clean out the data. So for instance, they would to be able to market and sell products, what turns out very often that their data and their images are not inlined, and that they don't have images or descriptions or various price options ready for all of the products they offer. And going through this sort of a process helps them clean up that data and make it structured and on point correct. And so what we then force is that to have the ERP clean out the data and become the source of truth for product data, inventory, orders, and existing customer and new customer data. Usually Shopify is positioned just like another point of sale in the entire system. So they treat it as as they would treat a new physical store inside the system. So that enables the bridge communication. And of course, like I said, the missing functionality that ERP doesn't offer can be implemented inside the bridge. So the flow usually of data goes from ERP, information about products, various offers, prices, and promotional data is pulled out and imported into the Shopify. Customer journeys is usually the other way around. Customers created in Shopify are returned in the ERP if the ERP contains CRM part. That's a customer relation management tool that can be also attached, or usually is attached. In my cases, it was usually attached as a part of the general IT system of the companies that we worked. Also, the orders are coming from Shopify to the ERP system, and the ERP system in the end returns invoices. Here we had a situation that in Croatia, at least where I'm based, all of the bills have to be fiscalized by the country. I mean, we have a certain deadline in which all of the bills that are invoiced have to be sent to the central database, governmental database, to be tracked for tax reasons. And so generating invoices and sending the sales data to the government is usually done by ERP. And then the copy of the generated invoice is returned to the Shopify to be displayed for the customer in some other pipeline or ordering. Okay, we can continue. And so this is like the exact case that I had. I already told parts of this in advance, but this was a large manufacturer of furniture based in Croatia. They have a specific flow that they don't have, for instance, inventory stacking. When they receive an order, they can immediately start production. And so their usual pipeline is customers come to the physical stores, they choose a product, and then if product is in stock, it gets shipped. If not, it gets put on the queue for production. And so what they did, or how we solved their integration, we basically created the Shopify as another store where the products are presented in the digital world, and from there it comes into the same pipeline and enables them to operate, e.g. the same, just like opening another physical store. So the process here goes, the products are synced on a daily basis, since they don't change their production inventory that is much. So inside their ERP system, they had an option to tag a products. All the products they wanted to be available on stores, we agreed upon a tag. The bridge then functions at one point during the day, pinged their ERP system over API, pulled all of the tagged products that were marked to go for online stores. Then the list of products from Shopify was fetched. Two lists were compared. All the products that had different infos were updated on Shopify, and on the end of this process, additional code was run, which actually marked all of the products that had a discount option with a tag inside Shopify that it's discounted. And just a note for further, collections and tags are really very, very useful way of organizing in general products inside the Shopify system. And not only Shopify, it really helped here to streamline the process as well, because the tagging option was available inside the customer's ERP system. Okay, so we can continue to the next slide. Then we have another flow that was also available for the same customer. And then what happens when the purchase is made? So inside Shopify, customer and order is created. Shopify has the basis of Shopify flow that you all ever demoed is actually something called webhooks. It means that each action, you can create a hook, that each action that a customer does inside, not only for customer actions, but for various actions inside the system, you can create a hook that actually triggers a code or an action to be done by a remote I would say entity. And actually, so what we used is reuse the same hooks that are used in Shopify Flow to create these triggers and hooks. So customer and order creation triggers a webhook that triggers an action inside the bridge. The bridge starts processing customer order. It can do various business logic in the terms generation of invoices. In this particular case, wasn't based on the ERP, but in an external service. So Bridge at one point picked the internal service to generate an invoice, and immediately when invoice was generated, it pushed all of the data inside the ERP, and then it returned also the data in Shopify for tracking. It used also tags to tag customers and orders which were processed, and add the link to the generated invoice, which was done by another service. Okay, we can continue. And this is like the next case. Another client was a large cards parts seller. It has similar processes like the furniture manufacturing company, but here the main difference was the inventory management. So at the point when we started working, the inventory management was not yet so polished inside Shopify. Now it has really, in the past 2 years, it has really like pumped up and added various cool options. So here we had an issue that live sync of inventory was needed, and Shopify did not support that at one point. So we made, hack is not the word, but we made an alternative way of checking it. We actually integrated inventory checks inside the teams. So each time a person or a customer would add a product inside Shopify, we would call the bridge, and with the bridge, the API of a customer, and said, can you check, do we have this product on inventory that we can ship out? If the ERP system returned that the inventory, that the product is in stock, we would enable the buy button for the customer. So it shows like that various integrations and the bridging of functionality is not only possible inside webhooks and the standard flows, but you can, if you think digital and work on digital processes, there is a lot of ways that you can bridge the functionality of various systems. Okay, so the like general advices that just think or repeat that I've said already during the presentation. So digital and centralized repository of products is definitely a must, because you don't know what you're missing until you have it structured and ready to be like sent to an external service. Before starting any of kind of these integrations between your custom ERP systems and any Shopify or any other external services, a good analysis of your current ERP system is needed. In particular, does it have API? Does it have option of events, webhooks? How does it perform under larger load? This is like a very, very common issue, especially with the systems that were designed to support only point of sales processes. And in my experiences, most of the bugs experienced that we had in the past few years were I would say 90% originated inside the ERP. I didn't write here, but also a very good option is a tagging option for products and organizations of data. So, okay, let's continue. And so just a few, since we also did not only bridges between ERPs and Shopify, we also did custom team development. So maybe just a few words on team development on Shopify. First, definitely look what's available free. There's a lot of free or very, how do you say, financially appropriate teams to buy on Shopify already. If you have any sorts of configurable products, e.g. I mentioned that furniture manufacturer was done, they have various customizations options on their products. That's not very well handled inside the core Shopify. So I would recommend immediately to find an app that can support the customization options you need. Don't implement it in the team, because that's what we did, and it turned out quite hard, and not we hit several low blocks. Product collections are your best friends in Shopify. That's so true on so many levels, from discounts, various categories, organizing, tagging. Tagging is a really, really powerful tool when you start using it, and collections are actually based mostly on products that are tagged. Liquid is a language used mainly for coding Shopify teams. It's quite rudimentary, and you can use it only for simpler logic. If you try and do it, work with it for a more complex one, you can get really, really quickly tangled up in endless code. And for complex teams, keep an eye on Hydrogen. It's a new project coming from Shopify, in which various rich experiences are going to be possible, and they're promising a lot, and it looks very, very good. So if you're thinking about developing a team, I strongly recommend that you take into account first Hydrogen. It's in some sort of early beta or beta testing, sort of. It's not yet live for everybody, but it's very, very interesting, and it's going to open up various possibilities and solve, for instance, configurable products. I think it's going to be much more easily solvable in Hydrogen than it was in Liquid up until now. Okay, and let's continue on. And of course, as a developer, I must mention alternatives to Shopify, because it's not only, like Oliver said, the integration with the Shopify here, the idea of thinking digital and thinking of digital processes to reduce the manual labor and to set up pipelines and structure processes inside your own company and use digital transformation to do that. So I think it's going digital is the main theme. So if you want to go digital, the Shopify is not the only alternative. As a developer, I must also point out the open source. I have experience with WeCommerce and Salier. They're both great products, but I also heard very, very good stories about Magento and OpenCart. Shopware is a bit a newer player in my list, but also very interesting to take a look. So always take a look does one of those things maybe fit better in your processes, pipelines? Do you need more customization options or more control? That's not possible inside Shopify. So there's open source. And I also set up additional slides. On the next slide is alternatives inside how do you say shops as a service app. So Shopify is not the only, maybe it's the biggest one, but also Square is coming up, Ecwid, and BigCommerce. I think it's from before, really, really big. So maybe they fit better in the terms of themes or apps or functionality that it's currently needed. So it's also very interesting to go through the list and evaluate.
Okay, thank you,
Oliver.
Zach.
Thank you.
So we learned that, of course, 100% automation, it's possible if we have digital information along the value chain, and of course, if we integrate to other applications, ERP systems digitally, then we can automate the whole workflows. Why we started today with Shopify is that, of course, it's easier to have everything digital if you start with the customer front end, shop, storefront, social media, B2B portals, where we get all the information about the customer leads, about the customer products digital. Then you, of course, can do digital marketing, targeted marketing, if you know your customers or potential customers, and customer management. This is really a prerequisite to have customer data digital. Then product and offer management should be also digital to continue the workflow in a more automated way. Then the order inventory management is key, should be, of course, digital. Makes no sense to replenish or to order manually. And of course, enterprise resource planning should be also integrated digitally. And if everything is digital, then 100% automation could be done. As a resume for today, or recommendation, start with digitalize your customer front end. Even if you are not a typical merchant or shop provider, maybe you are a manufacturer, producer, then start with the customer front end to your customers, B2B customers in the value chain, or even end consumers. And therefore Shopify or Salesforce or Adobe are good solution providers. Then integrate to your ERP system, easy, fast, and scalable. It's important, but not only the ERP system, all the other apps, applications which are there, you should fully utilize. That's an advantage of Shopify. You know, the Shopify App Store has now more than 4,000 apps, solutions done by other developers in this open ecosystem or by Shopify itself. Only one, I think, really new app from Shopify is Shopify Balance, where you have an own bank account distributed from fintech activities by Shopify and can do an easy reconciliation and payment and funding processes in the backend system. So month by month, there are coming new applications which you can use in your workflow. I think really a key topic of Shopify. And automation is not only about saving manual work. It's also about having new real-time information for real-time decision support. Let's say reliable forecasts, effective business intelligence processes, digital marketing, optimizing your operations, inventory management, supply chain, or enabling a better digital administration behind. So it's not about only saving money by saving manual processes, it's also to increase decision support quality we see here. So at the end, our recommendation is to start maybe in an MVP approach in a small scope at your company, as we have seen maybe in spare parts marketing or selling, or in attracting new customer group, and then digitalize the overall process and workflow behind, integrate to other applications and systems, and then make your first lessons learned and experience. Yeah, we are through. Finally, thank you, Zach, for giving us really, really good insights about the integration and your digital projects and Shopify projects. I think it was really beneficial.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. And thank you for all the people who listen to our stream. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate, of course, to contact us at Automatization.